There's not too many places in the world where you can ride roads built like a roller coaster, discover diamonds, stop on the side of the road to jump into a swimming hole, walk in the footsteps of notorious mobsters, drink a beer brewed from thermal mineral water in the ground directly below you, and watch a sunset atop a mountain peak, all in one day. In fact, Southwest Arkansas may be the only place. Welcome to Arkansas, the natural state. Today we're exploring the Diamond Lakes region and the greater Ouachita Mountains. Good morning, y'all. I'm so excited to be back here once again. This is my third year working with Arkansas Tourism on their motorcycling guide. If you haven't picked one up before, I'm going to put a link up here in the description. But this is what they look like. They're saddlebag size, very convenient. There's also ride routes in here for on-road and off-road. Super cool little things. You can also get a digital copy if you don't want one mailed to you. Now on this trip, I'm going to be headed all through the Diamond Lakes region of Arkansas. So as you can see, Hot Springs is a great hub. Scenic 7 runs right through Hot Springs. The Diamond Lakes run is right here. And of course, the Talimena Scenic Byway. This is going to be a big, popular ride right through here from Hot Springs all the way to Talimena. Now the Diamond Lakes region is, in my opinion, a little underrated. A lot of people, when they come ride motorcycles in Arkansas, they go up to the Ozarks and they don't focus on the Ouachitas. And this area is kind of a hidden gem, so I'm excited to show it to y'all. There's tons of good riding here, and we're going to be based in Hot Springs for most of it, with a side trip out to Mena to ride the Talimena Scenic Byway. Hot Springs, also known as America's Spa City, is full of history as rich as its 4,000-year-old thermal mineral waters that have attracted visitors for hundreds of years. More on that later. For now, we'll start this history tour in the heart of downtown, at the Arlington. The Arlington Resort Hotel and Spa is an Arkansas icon. Originally built in 1875 across the street from where it stands today, the Arlington has been rebuilt and expanded over the years. Now this is something you don't see every day. You also get a real key with your room. Today, it's the largest hotel in Arkansas with nearly 500 rooms, 50 of which have the town's famed thermal mineral waters piped directly in for bathing. U.S. presidents, baseball players, and even the notorious gangster Al Capone have traveled to the Arlington to enjoy the mineral baths. Al Capone enjoyed the Arlington so much, he would rent the entire fourth floor of the hotel for his staff and bodyguards. His room, number 443, looked out over Central Avenue, allowing him to keep an eye on anyone approaching the hotel. This is also the floor where you can enter the bathhouses if you want to use them, but for history's sake, I think the Al Capone room's pretty cool. With its prime location to all things historic Hot Springs, the Arlington felt like the perfect place to call home for my trip. Now, one of the things I really like about this hotel is that they've really done a great job preserving their history within the town of Hot Springs. They have this mini museum here on the first floor, which is also open to the public. You do not have to be staying here in order to check out some of the stuff. Now, one of the coolest things about staying at the Arlington is that you're right in the middle of all the historic places here in Hot Springs, and there's a really historic breakfast spot I want to take out to called the Pancake Shop. It's been here since the 1940s, and I hear the pancakes are huge.
Blueberry pancake.
They have like two.
I wasn't kidding when I said that these pancakes were absolutely massive. All right, now I just finished eating inside of the Pancake House. I didn't want to disturb the people eating breakfast behind me, but that food was so good and those pancakes were ginormous. I got a bacon omelet and I added some bell peppers, mushrooms, and I think something else to it, but it was, oh my gosh, it was so good. The bacon was cooked perfectly. I also got a giant pancake, as y'all saw, and the waitress gave me a tip on how to eat them here, and it's to smother it all in butter and then cut out the middle and dump your syrup inside of it so that it doesn't flop over onto the table. She says it happens to people all the time here because they just put all the syrup on and then it goes all over the place. So if you come here, definitely pay attention to that. So since it's gonna rain today, I think I'm gonna focus on a little bit of the history here in Hot Springs. Y'all know how much I love history, and this town is packed full of it. So let's go ahead and walk down the street and check out Bathhouse Row, as well as the hot springs that the town is named for. The thermal water at Hot Springs National Park is nearly 4,000-year-old spring water in its natural state. Even though the water comes out of the ground at 147 degrees Fahrenheit, it is cool enough to touch by the time it reaches the pools and water fountains. It is a little rainy out, but totally fine. The weather's actually pretty nice out. I don't even need this jacket on, but we're gonna make the most out of this drizzly day in Hot Springs. If you enjoy walking tours, there's a 1-mile loop through the National Park's Historic District comprised of the Grand Promenade and Bathhouse Row that can take you anywhere from 20 minutes to a few hours to complete. So, something that I think is really cool about the hot springs in this area is that they have water fountains here in town that utilize the hot spring water, and you can come fill up water jugs and all kinds of stuff. And there's actually some people doing it right now. Throughout the town of Hot Springs, there's 7 thermal spring fountains in addition to 2 cold springs. People drive for miles around to fill up their water jugs, claiming that this water is better than any tap water they can get at home. Some locals even pick a favorite fountain for its pH levels, and if you can get to chatting with them, they'll tell you stories about the fountains. Okay, that was really cool. That was something I really wanted to see, and I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. I went ahead and let them finish filling up their water jugs. They said that they live here in town, and they come here and get water all the time. You are legally allowed to fill up water for personal use here, but you are not allowed to resell it, which makes total sense. But that was cool. I'm so glad I got to see that. I wish I had a water bottle, but no trip to Hot Springs would be complete without a visit to Bathhouse Row. It's the largest remaining collection of early 20th century bathhouses in the United States, consisting of 8 bathhouse buildings that were constructed between the years of 1892 and 1923. I spent 2 hours wandering down Bathhouse Row. Mind you, it's just 1 block. So you could totally spend a whole day just checking out all the bathhouses, soaking in the waters there if you wanted. A couple of them are still active bathhouses that you can visit. It's pretty cool. The sun is coming out, which wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to start pouring. So we're gonna jump on the bike, and I'm gonna show y'all a quick little twisty route here that is actually part of the national park. Built as a carriage road in the 1880s, North Mountain Drive has switchbacks that will take you to the top to a picnic area, the pagoda overlook, and the Hot Springs Mountain Tower, which for a fee will give you panoramic views of downtown. The second scenic drive, which summits West Mountain, is less twisty and offers a decent view of downtown if you don't want to pay the fee for the mountain tower. Most of this video was filmed in early March, meaning that spring hadn't quite sprung yet. However, I made a second trip to the area just 2 months later and found that the park had come to life with the vibrant green hues you'd expect to find in Arkansas in early May. I'm gonna fulfill my little water bottle destiny here and get some spring water. All right. Cheers. It tastes like water. But it's good water. Drinking mineral water from a fountain is just the start to my afternoon libations. Hot Springs is also home to Arkansas's oldest bar, the Ohio Club. Since 1905, it's been a gathering place for locals, tourists, and at one point was a hot spot for gangsters like Al Capone due to the bar's prior involvement in illegal activities. The original 1880s-era mahogany back bar is still in use today and required the front wall of the building to be removed for its installation. Today, the club features live music, cocktails, and food, but I already have plans for the evening at another establishment right across the street. Now, there is one last thing we're going to do here in Hot Springs today, and that's go check out Superior Bass Brewery. Built in 1916, the Superior operated as a bathhouse in Hot Springs National Park until its closure in 1983. After lying vacant for 30 years, construction began in the spring of 2013, and most of the original building remains today, like the check-in desk, which has been repurposed as part of the main bar. So something really cool about Hot Springs National Park is that it's the only national park with a brewery inside. Also, Superior Bass Brewery is the only brewery that uses, say brewery 10 times fast. Superior Bass is the only brewery in the world that utilizes natural thermal spring water to make their beers, which I think is really, really cool. And luckily, I'm literally less than 100 yards from my hotel. It is my birthday, and we're gonna get a flight of beers. Yes, they do make normal flights, but they also offer a beer bath, which is a sample of all 18 beers they make here at the brewery. Since they had heard it was my birthday, I got a bit of an upgrade. And if craft beer isn't your thing, they do offer plenty of food options. Now the best part about going to the Superior Bass Brewery tonight is that it's literally half a block from the hotel. So I will see you guys in the morning. With gloomy weather in the forecast, a day trip to the historic town of Washington was the perfect ride from Hot Springs. Established in 1824, the Washington Township, now a state park, holds plenty of history for the state of Arkansas, including the state's oldest post office, the largest collection of 19th century buildings in the state, museums, and most notably, it was once home to James Black, the creator and forger of the first Bowie knife. Now this is a reconstructed shop, but it was in this location according to history that the original Bowie knife was made by a blacksmith named James Black, and today they do live demonstrations of blacksmithing here in the shop, so we're gonna go check it out.
That's a good thing.
Jerry Ligon, a blacksmith by trade and fellow motorcyclist by hobby, gives complimentary demonstrations inside the shop.
Pick that up.
And if you're lucky, he may just throw in a free history lesson about the Bowie knife.
This is the one that we think that James Black made for Jim Bowie around 1831. The price of James Black's knives was between $5 and $55 back in the day. This one would have been on the high end of that. Mm-hmm. And to put it in perspective, an acre of land cost $1.50 at the time. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he came back a couple of months later to pick that knife up. And he had that knife made. Nobody knows what it looked like. And he had this knife made. So they go out on the front porch and talk about which will serve you better. You don't see this on many knives today. It's got a little rise back here. You see that? Okay. They, back in that time period, families that could afford it would have their sons take fencing lessons. You know, that's when you're fencing, you have the foil and all you have is a point basically on it. This knife, because of this, is designed where you know where that point is. If I hold this knife like this, I'm gonna stretch, and that point's still sticking up. Now I don't need to have to worry about where that point is on my knife if I'm trying to defend myself. I need to be looking at my opponent. They said they held them like this. Look there, straight as a string. And then you can block with the back of it, even though it doesn't have a D-guard on it, like that. Also, you cut through a cane brake down the river with a big knife like this. It's kind of like a machete. And Bowie wound up taking this knife over the one he'd commissioned. The original knife that they have at Little Rock at Historic Arkansas Museum, which this one's copied off of, is a well-used knife. It's been sharpened. Of course, it's 180 years old too, you know. Mm-hmm. But you could tell it wasn't something they just put up on the wall. It was something they used. Yeah. There. We're lucky to have it in Arkansas.
I love seeing places like this that just preserve their history so well. I would absolutely plan to spend at least 4 hours checking everything out in this town, if not 6, 7, or 8 if you want to check out every single building here. There's also an Airbnb built into the old jail that you can stay in, but we are not doing that today. We have one more stop before we head back to Hot Springs for the evening, and that is Crater of Diamonds State Park. Just a quick 30-minute ride from Washington, you'll find Crater of Diamonds State Park. Crater of Diamonds State Park is a literal gem of Arkansas. Diamonds are a symbol of the natural state, being used on their state quarter, license plates, and even within their state flag's symbolism. This is the 8th largest diamond reserve, and also the only public one in the world. Whatever you find here, you get to keep. And my mom actually brought me here when I was a little kid and let me dig for diamonds. We're not digging for diamonds today, but you can come here and dig. There's a whole field out back, and they have found like huge diamonds. There's actually one right over here in a case that's 3 carats that a lady made into a wedding ring. And I remember that from when I was a little kid, which is really cool that it's still here. Now, if you choose to come here and dig for diamonds, they do have all kinds of stuff that you can rent in order to go out there. Like they have the sluice boxes, like all the fancy diamond digging utensils that you would need, or you can bring your own stuff. There are people that come out here literally every day looking for diamonds. They are very serious about it. So cool thing to do. I would definitely recommend doing it on a day that is not super hot because there is no shade over that field where all of the gemstones and diamonds are found. With more desire to grab some food than to dig in the dirt for hours, I hopped back on the bike. This place by far wins the best food award of this whole trip. Taco Mama. Taco Mama is located just a mile from the historic Hot Springs district and has some of the best Tex-Mex style food I've had in quite a while. Sometimes the pros of my job include getting to over-order food and try different things for the sake of client photography. The cons? Sometimes the food is really good and it's impossible to consume it all, especially when you're wearing jeans instead of stretchy pants. So I don't even know where to begin with this place because everything was so good. Chef Diana, who also owns this place, allowed me to sample a handful of things they had. I got the carnitas tacos and they were perfect. They were absolutely amazing. If you love carnitas, just trust me, just go with it. I also got their brisket empanadas. They make their brisket themselves. I'm from Texas. I'm kind of snobby about brisket. That was some good brisket. Like, that was so good. Highly recommend the brisket empanadas. Honestly, I wish I could sample everything on their menu. I even got some of their chorizo queso. That was also really good. Seriously, you can't go wrong with anything on the menu here. I'm so glad that I was able to stop here on this trip. Taco Mama gets the gold star. This place is amazing. Today is my final day in Arkansas, and I've saved the best riding for last. I said goodbye to Hot Springs and headed west into the Ouachita Mountains to the small town of Mena. The helmet hair is real. We are officially in Mena, and the first place I want to show y'all is the Ouachitas. This is a coffee and pizza shop, and luckily I'm starving because I did not eat before I left Hot Springs this morning. So this spot is called the Ouachitas. It's right here off like the main strip in downtown Mena. The main intersection is right over here. And they are a brewery, they are a coffee roastery, they are also a pizzeria, they have wings, they also have fried pickles. There is no such thing, in my opinion, as a bad fried pickle. I also got their meat lovers pizza here. This is a 7-inch pizza, so it's a little personal guy, but they do make bigger ones. And then a chicken bacon ranch pizza. What a hidden little gem. If you're gonna ride the Talimena Scenic Byway, this is the perfect stop. I'm so glad I stopped here. With caffeine in my system and gas in my tank, it was finally time to cross off a bucket list ride, the Talimena Scenic Byway. Deep in the Ouachita Mountains on the western edge of Arkansas lies the Talimena Scenic Byway. This 54-mile all-American road twists and turns like a roller coaster over Arkansas's rich mountain for 18 miles before entering Oklahoma. When most people think of great riding in Arkansas, they think the Ozarks and the Pig Trail. However, the Talimena probably is my favorite out of all the roads I've ridden in the state.
Do you see this?
We've only gone about 14 miles up the Talimena Scenic Byway, but there's a spot you have to stop at on this road, and it's the state park. This is Queen Wilhelmena State Park, very historical place here. And if you thought we were going to leave Arkansas without getting pie, you are absolutely mistaken. It is basically tradition now. And I've heard this place has really good pie, and you can get it with ice cream on top. So that's exactly why we're here. Queen Wilhelmena State Park, located in western Arkansas, is named after Queen Wilhelmena of the Netherlands, who visited the area in 1910. The park's history dates back to the 1890s when a luxurious resort was built, which was called the Castle in the Sky. Over the years, the resort changed ownership and eventually fell into disrepair. But in 1971, it was renovated and reopened as a state park. The lodge you see today offers pretty comfy hotel rooms, a restaurant, and panoramic views of the Ouachitas. Oh, and yes, pie. Pie is the perfect way, even on a full stomach, to celebrate the end to a great few days of riding and exploring the natural state. Well, yo, I'm gonna finish riding this byway on my own. Hopefully you found some things to do in and around Mena, as well as the Diamond Lakes region in this video. I'm so glad the weather cleared up for this last day in Arkansas. It is absolutely gorgeous out. Be sure to order your motorcycling guide or view it online. I'm gonna put a link right up here as well down in the description below. Thank you so much, Arkansas, for having me come out and showcase your state once again. It was super fun. Until the next one, I'll see y'all on the road. Later, y'all.